So as we begin to bring the energy into a quieter place, a more receptive place, just let your body and your consciousness settle a little bit in this moment. And take a breath. And know that there is nothing for you to do, just to be right here with us, with the beautiful energy of love and family. And let yourself feel the blessings in the room that you create, that we create together. Feeling the energy of the cosmos coming in through the crown of your head and just settling for a moment in your heart, saying hello. And then moving through your body, down your legs, into your feet, connecting with our beautiful Mother Gaia, right here, right now in this room. And letting yourself just find the stillness of that connection between heaven and earth. And in that stillness is that beautiful heart of yours, that space where your breath lives, where your light lives, where the softness of divine love always lives for you. Even when we forget, it's still there waiting for you to take another breath and move through your body, your consciousness, into that place of receiving divine love.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. Take a moment and honor that which is here. I would not tell you things that are not so. There is a maturity of awareness that is in the room that lays upon you like a blanket of benevolence as it honors the role of the old soul in the future. And what we are going to speak of in these short moments has been spoken of many times through the years. And we're going to give a summation of it today, pulling it all together. In this particular year, the year of 2, we call it year 2 because it is the second year of acceleration of the new energy. The first year being 2014, this being the second. Things are beginning to shift on the planet dramatically. Unexpected things to your psyche are before you. We have told you not to despair, do not worry, that it is part of a recalibration of everything. And we've asked you to see and feel the benevolence of God in all of it. And then there are the instructions for you. Old soul, you are beginning to recalibrate how you feel about God. What follows should have a title. And humans love titles, so we will call it Accelerated Awareness, the Rise of Spiritual Common Sense. It is time for you to finally understand and separate in a mature way the consciousness of the Creator versus the consciousness of a human. Many years ago, I told my partner to write a book called Don't Think Like a Human. To this day, the title is catchy, and many agree that this would be nice. Now, it's a prerequisite. And we're going to give you a number of attributes. I'll even call them items that are things to work on and understand and to realize that are involved in everyday life, and you will relate to these things because they are how humanity has worked with God in the past. We've given you channels through the years that told you not to take the consciousness of humans and place it upon God. And this is another one of them. Only this one is maybe perhaps a wrap-up in the reality of what follows in your lives for you to take this information seriously, pass it around, give others the information, perhaps by having them read or listen to these words as we discuss a beautiful, beautiful system. Dear ones, how do you perceive God? In an old energy, that is to say, the energy that humans have always been in up to this point, there has been perhaps a bias. And the bias is that you think of God as a parent figure. You even name some of your religious leaders Father. And the paradigm of parenting, therefore, is what you would then apply to the Creator of the universe. It's the best you had. It's honoring in your mind. But dear ones, in the parenting and humans to children, you have also applied all of the other human attributes that parents would have, that fathers would have, and they would be a list that is endless. And they would all be human emotion. Anger, punishment, control, do as you're told, authority, on and on. You have the idea that God is the shepherd and you are the sheep. And this has been used over and over in a very benevolent way of how you should then see the Creator of the universe. The father syndrome. It's the first one we tell you to break. 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 There is no relationship like parenting when it comes to the Almighty. You are family, but we are not parents. We are the family with you. We are your best friend, your brother, and your sister. We are spiritual lovers of humanity. There is no anger. There is no punishment. There is no punishment. Dear ones, your life here is by your agreement with the Creator in order for a test of energy, and that is all it is. You're not in a scenario of good and bad punishment. All of the things that humans do with humans is not what God does. How can we then show you or tell you? Can you understand the statement, the creator of the universe is not a human? Does not have human consciousness, does not have human nature, therefore does not have anger, does not have punishment, doesn't want to control, and you're not sheep. Could it be any clearer? The closer you get to the source which is inside you, which is God, the more you will feel this arrangement we have. One single hand reaches out to you that is the creator and is all that is, asking you to take it, not so you will be controlled as sheep, but so you'll be included in the creative source. The closer you get through your higher self to that which is this creative source which you call God, the stronger influence of compassion you will have on this planet. Like the masters that came before you, who were not angry and who did not punish and did not want you to be sheep. That's number one. Could it be any clearer? To change the paradigm of the relationship to the part of you which is creation. We're looking at all of these things closely. And we have so many of them. There are those in this room who wanted to hear this, who've been climbing steps all their life in order to satisfy something they believe that Spirit wants, who have suffered enough and want to just hear these few things that you should know. Dear ones, there is no hierarchy. Could it be that there is nobody in charge? It is a human attribute. Don't you understand this? In order for you to group together and accomplish anything, there's a structure. It's human. It's everywhere. There's always somebody in charge. Always. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, even the hermit in the field, somebody owns the field. Someone's in charge. Somebody has to be there. Even in the middle of the ocean, someone's in charge. You'll say, well, now it is Neptune. Now it is Mother Nature. There's always a force above you. And you apply that situation, a hierarchy, to God. You have created that which is hierarchical even in the angels. You have master angels. You have ones that are in charge of others. You've got books filled of who answers to whom. And they don't. And they don't. You see, the structure of spirit, of what you call God, is different than you imagine. There is one consciousness that is in charge. And one consciousness is also the family. It is hard to describe to you a multidimensional aspect that you do not have. Imagine for a moment there was a consciousness that everyone had, and you were all in charge. If you had that, then there would be no followers. There would be no less than. You'd all know what to do instantly and would do it in complementary fashion with the others because you were all in charge. You saw what had to be done. You would then have the solutions all together as one. That is the mind of God. The angelic beings are not in a hierarchy. You say there is Archangel Michael. Michael would be the first to tell you there isn't. But honors the fact that you would see there was in order to facilitate yourselves and be comfortable in 3D. Do you see? It is time to get out of the fallacies of an old energy where you apply all human nature to God. Number 3, you always have to pay something to get something. You have applied this to absolutely everything in your life. Even physics sees a certain way of the way things work in 3-dimensional, where there's no such thing as free energy. It simply changes its form. You've got to pay the price in order to move from A to B. There has to be a transition. Even in physics, energy must move this way in order for you to get this. There is a payment plan for everything. And you applied that to God. Oh, did you? So here comes the creating force of the universe. And the first thing you're going to ask is, what do I have to do? If you give up your energy, if you're going to count some beads, if you're going to do something, it's going to be to pay spirit so that you can exist as good in the eyes of God. Let me tell you something. You are born magnificent and perfect and always are. Always are. There is nothing you can do that will diminish you in the eyes of the Creator. Oh, you may disappoint yourself. You may disappoint society. You are here for a reason, and the test is here. You may make some funny decisions that other humans don't like, and God loves you the same. Did you hear that? And when you die and transfer energy for a moment to my side of the veil before you return, when you do, there is a party that celebrates that which you did, called living life on the planet and being part of the puzzle. Everyone, from the minister to the one in prison. Do you hear me? And this does not compute, does it? It doesn't work for you. Anyone listening to my voice, I'll tell you, you say, there has to be a punishment, a payment. You have to pay to get something. No, you don't. You arrived on this planet on purpose, and you didn't pay anybody to get here. And it wasn't a punishment. Why do you assign negative and positive energies to everything that happens? And you do. That is human nature. Every single organization that is spiritual, including this one, if you want to call it an organization, it's an organization of consciousness, has that in it. There's got to be something you must do to have the favor of God. And then you ask, am I doing it right? Oh, yes, you are. By being in the chair and loving God, you're doing it right. There are certain societies where human beings act like children who are spiritual and they don't know any better. And it still goes on. Charlatans who know far, far better will tell you that for a certain price they can forgive your sins or propel you in heaven or even affect your ancestors, and you hand over the money. This is still on today. Dear old soul, break this paradigm in any way you can. When anybody talks to you about reward and punishment and payment, when it comes to the Almighty, you tell them you're part of the family and you're all paid up, all right? There are those, so many, who besiege God right now, right this moment, in prayer, bending over and saying, how can we get clean in the eyes of God? And they don't know that they were never dirty. Who told them they were dirty? And why would they? Break the paradigm. Born magnificent, family and clean forever. Your timing, number 4, is not God's timing. And yet you make it that way. It's a habit that way. My partner even gave a full lecture series and recorded a video about it because it is so prevalent among you. Somebody has to hear this. You came today to hear this. When you get a strong intuition about something that may be in your future, you take it and you hold it to yourself and you thank God for finally giving you some instructions on what to do. You're going to go over here, you're going to start a school, you're going to write a book. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. And then you do it. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work spectacularly. It fails. Use the word. And then what do? You do the human thing. You say, what did I do wrong? How did I displease God? All of those things are simply running in circles of human nature and not having any idea about how the Creator works. If any of you at any time get a message about something that is coming or an inkling or a feeling, I want you to promise me you'll have common sense that is spiritual and see it for what it is. What it is a potential that may very well happen, and the synchronicity will be created when it's time and not on your clock. I want to show you why you do what you do, and we've discussed this before. All of human nature has the authority figure asking you to do something or telling you to do something, and you doing it immediately. When your father said, clean up your room, when were you supposed to do it? When your boss tells you they want something, when were you supposed to do it? And the answer is always now. So Spirit gives you intuition about something that's going to happen, something that's in the works, or for you, something you're supposed to do, and you instantly knee-jerk it into reality now. And it fails. Promise me that you will have the wherewithal and the maturity to say, thank you, God, for this information. It's beautiful. And I will wait patiently for the synchronicity that will begin to realize and fulfill this. For I am family and I understand the principles of synchronicity and the timing of Spirit. I want you to see it in the bigger picture. These things that you are working on are potentials. You may be shown something far before someone else who will be part of it is shown. You're going to have to wait for them. For things to come together in a synchronicity, in a society of free choice, they also may change. They may morph into something else, and you will be given that. And yet there are humans that are angry at God because they didn't get number one, they got number two. And when you ask them, well, number two was better, and you say, yes, but number one is what he told me. What did I do wrong? Not understanding. God does not have a list for you. These are energies of potential and the timing of Spirit, not on your clock. Promise me that you won't launch out just because you got the message or the inkling, but that you will wait in a mature fashion for the timing of Spirit and know it when you see it and be comfortable with it. Old soul, mature common sense should prevail. Number 5, the last one. Purpose. How many sales meetings have you attended? And they all tell you the same thing. In order to have something happen, you have to have a goal. It would be helpful to paste things magnetically on the refrigerator to remind you. Maybe you should go to meetings where other people have the same goals and reiterate them. None of that is what God has. None of that. And we said it before. Your purpose on the planet has nothing to do with your works. Did you hear that? There are sayings that some of you have heard all your life. By your works will you be known. Let me tell you another saying. By your magnificence on the planet will you be known. Which is you in the chair listening today. How about that? By your magnificence of being a human and going through this, will you be known? Not by what you do while you're here. The magnificence of the old soul will be increased even more through compassionate action, and we have said that. That's what you're here for. If you really want a goal, I will give it to you. Compassionate action. Live like a master. And you will say to me, it's hard. And I will say to you, that's why we call you light worker. It's hard. It is. You have the maturity and the life experience on this planet to achieve all that you set out to achieve. In this life and others that you will live, by your magnificence will you be known as those who will create peace on earth and take it into ascension eventually. That's how we know you, family. By your name and lights. Your name sung in the light form. That's how we know you. And that's real different from having a goal. All of the things that we have given you this day are things of human nature pasted upon the countenance of God. And it would include almost every single one of the structures of that which is spiritual in any organization on the planet. And we ask you to change it. And when you begin to do this, dear ones, you're going to find an increase in love, benevolence, understanding, and peace. You realize there's no more steps to climb to please God. All you have to do is open the door and take the hand of the family that you are. Could it be simpler? Dear ones, this is the message. Profound, complete. And so it is.
All right, so a little meditation before we begin. So let's see if you can just take a breath and slide into that place of deep quiet and peace. Use your breath to let your body just soften and be here, quiet and peace. And that beautiful internal landscape, whatever your quiet place is. And let your mind just put in the clutch and be in neutral, disengage, so that it has a space for healing to enter. A place for the celebration of a day spent with family. And that relaxation that comes from your alpha brainwave, where you're conscious and receptive, so that the message, along with the energy, can be received in a way that can be utilized by you, that can be fully brought into your being, that can do its work in a way that your mind doesn't need to know or understand. That you can ask for and be given assistance, perhaps guidance, perhaps clarity in some area of your life. And that may come from the words, but it may also come from the energy that Kryon brings in the love and honoring of being with us in the room.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. Some ask what it would be like if Spirit could come down and visit you. If you could have a meeting with the Creator and not be vaporized in the process. one-on-one. You and God. What would it be like? And the answer is, it would be like what we teach is your privilege. There is an energy on this planet right now that many have anticipated. And the energy is this, that you would be able to capture a greater portion of that which you call God inside than ever before. And that as it is captured, your life starts to shift. Dear ones, consciousness that works on itself is contagious. If you start that journey of learning more about that which is inside, of how you can be more joyful and how you can be out of fear, when you start that, we have said before, it's like exercising a muscle. Feels good. You want to continue because you get results. Those who start on themselves to capture the God inside and know more about it start to get results immediately. And the reason is because that is what you're here for. It's not an uphill battle, literally. It is what you're here for now. It lays there waiting for you to consider it. Some have said, well, Kryon, you speak metaphysically, esoterically. What's the practicality of this? What do I do? Dear ones, I cannot at any time define who you are individually, for you're so unique. Therefore, I cannot define what you with you is going to be like. What is the process of self-examination for you? And I'll tell you the truth that some of you have no idea and have never done it. You're just learning it's possible. And that's what I want to talk about. There is a battle, and the battle continues. The battle has always been with dark and light on the planet. And on this planet, that quotient has begun to change and shift in favor of the light. That is why the wild cards are here. That is why there's so much turmoil and unexpected things happening. It is a war between light and dark, finally, where light is indeed starting to show itself slowly. And that has been the battle. But as the darkness starts to lose on the planet, it sees another avenue. It turns to you. Dear ones, you are old souls, and you are filled with the lack of self-worth that we have described over and over, and you are ripe for the darkness to come here and tell you you're nothing. So you'll believe it. It starts to turn inward, this battle on this planet. Although the darkness is losing, it's not that stupid. And it knows that you are always in doubt. There'll come a day when the old soul is in no doubt at all. That is the battle that is beginning to be fought. Some of you've noticed The cycle of you feeling good and bad about things is getting wider and longer. You'll have more up times, and the times that you're depressed will be deeper than before. The cycle of duality itself is starting to adjust. And it will continue so that you find the medium and middle point that suits you best. And in the past, you just were. You simply existed. There wasn't much choice because you didn't feel the ups and the downs quite as much. And now when you do, it's startling. And you know you're going to have to choose. We've talked about the fence sitters. There cannot be any more of those who say one thing and do another. If you try and you are in denial about yourself, it creates dysfunction and dis-ease. You won't last long. And we have said this before. You cannot play around with these spiritual energies. You cannot say you're one thing and go out and do another. It will not suit the spiritual part of the DNA of the body anymore. I told you that I wanted to talk about things that go bump in the night. Now, if you ask almost any human being in this culture what that means, they'll say, well, Kryon is going to talk about ghosts. No, I'm not. I'm going to talk another kind of bump. And I want to talk about the night and what it means. The night is a metaphor for the darkness. When it's nighttime and there's no light, it's more conducive to being frightened, isn't it? If you take a look at the stories that scare you even today, they're at night. They have to be. Night is a metaphor. It's where there is no light. It's a place where you go, sometimes when you sleep, sometimes not. And you're in that place where there's nothing to grasp, for there is no light. It's a place where fear lives. Some of you are all too aware of the night. Old souls, listen to me. You've had your share at night. Oh, you have been there where there is no light at all, where there's no hope at all. Some of you have heard the cries of those you love around you, leaving the planet. Some of you have waited for your deaths to be the next one. You know all about darkness, fear, night. It's in the Akash. And what happens to you quite often in these days is that when night, the metaphor, comes upon you, your Akash gets overactive. And it starts to fill you with fear. Nighttime, the metaphor, has no redemption. You can't go anywhere and find light when it's dark. There's no sun yet. Pure nighttime in the desert. Only starlight, and that can be covered with the clouds. and you can't see a hand in front of you. Night, darkness, no redemption, no light, nothing. And that festers everything that's scary. And what is it that is the scariest thing for you? Dear ones, the only activity you're going to get at night is going to come from you. Fear begats fear. And what happens is you become afraid of things and you start the list. And the list comes from that which is in your Akash. And you build it, and you build it, and you build it. Night is simply darkness, neutral, without light, and you are the active part of it, building something which we're going to call the bump. The bump in the road that you are building in the dark. It's everything you're afraid of. What situation do you have in your life? Everyone here, even that one who is channeling, what situation do you have in your life which you can add upon, which is dark, and you can worry about, whose outcome is going to be dark in your mind because that's the bias of the old soul's Akash. It never turns out right. There's no redemption. There's no light. Look into your Akash over and over and over. It never works right. And that is what you build in the dark. And there you are. Perhaps you've laid in bed, awake, in the dark. And the Akash comes forward and says, you know, the situation's not going to turn out well, is it? And you start building the house of darkness. The windows and the doors are built with fear. And you're packing the house with bad outcome and the result of it and what you're going to be left with after that's over. It starts to attract the chemistry in your body of fear. Then you can't sleep at all. I know who's here. Dear human, this is part of the test of recalibration. It doesn't end there. You build the bump. It's all you. Nothing to do with the darkness. You now have created it from the dark. And then the sun comes out. And whereas you should feel wonderful about everything, whoa, here is the sun. I'm glad that's over. Unfortunately, the bump is still there. And the reason is because you created it. It didn't come from evil spirits. It didn't come from demons. It didn't come from other worldly influences. It's you creating the bump. And then you pick it up and you carry it to work. You carry it to school. You carry it wherever. You carry it on errands, and you continue to worry. Dear ones, the darkness on this planet counts on you to create your own bump and carry it with you, so that you don't move into the light, so you cannot think above the bump, so you can't see God inside. You've got a health problem? How's it going to turn out? Tell me about the bump. I already know. I know what you're thinking. Things that go bump in the night, I'll tell you, more old souls create a bump than anyone else. So let's get rid of it. It's time for you to understand that no matter how dark you perceive anything, any situation in your life right now, no matter how big is the bump that you have created and carry around on your shoulder, no matter how big it is, God is bigger. And that's what you've got in abundance in your life right now. And the difficulty of taking the bump and dissolving it cannot be looked at lightly, because all of your lives are invested in the bump. You need help. It's a good thing you got it. In this energy, the benevolence, the field, the consciousness that is here, that is part of the new you, wants to fight this with all the light that you can have. But dear ones, there are some of you invested in the bump. You love the bump. You wouldn't be you without the bump. And you tell all your friends about the bump. This is my problem, you say. Here's how it's going to come out, you say. You verbalize it, and so it remains. You're proud of it. Here's what's wrong with me, you'll tell your neighbors. Here is the hospitals that I've been in. Here's what the doctors say. Woe is me. You say, I know who's here. Did you ever think that those words were your own sentence? Did you ever think that the words that you cast out so lightly, again, are like an order in a restaurant? I'll have this, I'll have that, thank you. And here it comes, right on schedule. Here's your order, ma'am, sir. It's time for you to find the magnificence of God inside, ready to dissolve the bump, and it doesn't take that long. If you will start giving instructions and placing the order for your health, for benevolent outcome of your situation, if you'll start telling other people what's going to happen in a benevolent way, I have solved this problem. I don't know how yet it's going to happen, but it is around the corner and I'm going to be free of it. Celebrate with me. I'm going to be free of it. Everybody who comes in contact with you, your verbiage is positive about your life, and the bump starts to go away. And even in the darkest moments, even at night, light starts to show itself, because that's your natural state. You carry your own torch. In other words, it's never dark where you are. It's never nighttime wherever you are. You cannot quench the light of God. You cannot stop the eternalness of what is inside you. You have been here forever and will be here forever. There was no end and there is no beginning of that which you call your soul. And that is filled with light in this energy. No more nighttime. You create the bump from bad habits of not understanding that light is at your beck and call, and time is going to be on your side. Dear ones, practicality. Verbalize everything you say to anyone else, just like you're placing the order. And the more you say it and the more people you talk to about it, the quicker the bump goes away. There are still those who are so invested in it that they even have to decide whether they want to do this or not. This is free choice, and it will remain free choice. And dear ones, you can carry the bump with you forever. That's free choice, if you want it. But the difference will be this. Those who continue to wallow in that which is drama and fear will not live near as long as those who don't. There is something happening with the youthing process itself in the human body. It looks for and expects joy, benevolence, and balance. It looks for a coherence with itself that does not fight with fear. And when it sees the coherence, you live longer. You start youthing. The telomeres don't shorten near as much from year to year. You can see it in the mirror, and you know it's working. How often do you laugh? How often do you laugh at yourself when nobody's around? If you don't, you should think about it, because you are really fun. The joyful human being will smile at themselves in the mirror. And they'll look, even point, and say, I see God in you. A benevolence that starts to occur that is beyond what you have called human nature. Psychiatrists work with this constantly. Their entire job is to get people to balance. And I'm telling you that you have this inside. In spades, as they say. That's what is most prevalent right now in this new energy. Doesn't matter how long you lived here, who you think you are, or what you think you can do. It's new. And it's there. Because the balance of dark and light is different today than it was 4 years ago. The invitation to heal is here. I know who's here. I know who needs the healing. It's not going to be frustrating. It doesn't have to happen the way you think. Chase away the fear. All disease is in the consciousness of the human being. You think it's cellular, it's cells responding to the consciousness of the human being. Sometimes it's written in the Akash. Sometimes you think it's a contract for you to be ill. It isn't. Contracts are in invisible ink, and it's time to change them all. The contract that is new is that I'm here to enjoy this life without disease. I'm here to be balanced, to be joyful, and to live a long life because I deserve it. I have God inside. This is new energy. And I'm part of it. That's the truth of the day. It's the message of Kryon and so many others in this new energy that old souls have got to wake up and get out of the old paradigm of the bump. Don't let things that go bump in the night be you. It's time to change it. When you wake up, and the little voice says, what are we going to worry about today? I dare you to create a positive affirmation, and it will dissolve any negativity. Right there. Say back to it, I am a perfect being of God inside, made by the Creator to be perfect in His image of perfection. And that's who I am. And the negative thoughts won't have a chance. Visualize light in your body from head to foot. Feel the chills that can accompany the victory of having slain the bump yourself. Could it be any clearer what we're speaking of here? Old souls universally. Free choice. But what a choice. What magnificence. What power. What light. Discover it. Use it. See it. Share it. And that's all for now. I know who's here. I know who's listening. And I know which one of you it's for. And so it is.